Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Lord Nod at the TI3 waiting to be hooked. Guys, if you have looked and seen TI3, you've seen what Dendy's done with his Pudge. You've seen what he's been able to go ahead and throw his hooks, the fountain hooks even with the help of Chen. But guys, I have to go tell you something. That is nothing. When I say nothing, that means nothing except it wouldn't have happened without this guy. Guys, welcome to the show where we talk to Pudge.
Oi, hello. Hello, everyone. Fresh meat. You know what I like? I like fresh meat. I'm making a particularly large pie right now, so I would really appreciate it if lots of people could play DOTA2 so that I could get all the meat I need.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. If you can see here, I've got goosebumps. This guy is phenomenal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I mean, thank you. Thank you. You're very handsome, and you know you're nice and meaty. You know what I mean? A lot of flesh.
Yes, I got a kind of fat, it's run.
Very tender, very tender. Yeah, juicy. I got juice on my chin. Sorry.
So, guys, if you've not found out who he is, I'm going to let him introduce himself. He is the big man. All of you go ahead and pause right now and just go smile, because we've got the creator of Pudge in the house.
I'm John Patrick Lowrie, and I'm also a Darkseer and Earthshaker and Storm Spirit and Doom, and 7 of them, I forget. And of course, I also play the sniper on Team Fortress 2, and my wife's Ellen McLean, she's a GLaDOS, and we've been on lots of Valve games and lots of other games as well.
Yeah, Valve loves you. But just since we're here, we're going to ask him to give all of us a treat. Go ahead and just say 10, 12 sentences in any one of the combinations you want. You can start with the one you really love, any one of those characters.
Dad. No, I'm not a crazed gunman, Dad. I'm an assassin. Of a difference being, one is a job and the other's mental sickness. The ice takes you.
Who's that handsome fellow?
You look good with an apple in your mouth.
Let's see, who else? Of course, and there's always Gordon Freeman. Oh, that's great. Oh, you're going to really build morale by being around here. That's great that you showed up. And of course, Otis a Cabbage. Well, men, we need to go out and shoot down that helicopter. So use this rocket gun and get yourself a trophy worthy of any mantelpiece. I'll just stay down here where it's safe.
Guys, oh my God, he's so phenomenal. And he's so talented that he's done so much for Valve in so many games. But he's a talent by himself, right? So a lot of you don't know something that's going to come in right now. And all of you guys who've loved this, who love his work, I think the best thing you can go ahead and do is check what he's going to be telling you. So you have something coming out as a novel, right?
Yeah, actually, it's already out there. It's called Dancing with Eternity. It's science fiction. It won the Forward First Debut Fiction Award. It's gotten lots of 5-star reviews. As a matter of fact, it was really cool. For a long time, I had 69 reader reviews on Amazon.com. And now I have 70, which isn't nearly as cool. But people really seem to like it, and it's a hard science fiction, not so much fantasy like Dota is, but people really seem to like it a lot, and I hope people buy it and read it, or even check it out from the library.
That might be fun. So this is more on the I don't know, Star Trek, Star Wars, Asimov, which space?
Right. Well, I mean, it's somebody called it the best blend of nuts and bolts, rocket ships, and ray gun science fiction with sociological science fiction he's read in like 40 years, which was very nice of him to say. But it really is a balance. I mean, it takes place 2,000 years in the future, and the hook is that they figured out how to keep everyone from dying, so that if I shot you in the head, you just go to the hospital and I'd have to pay for it. And there's a telepathic internet so that even if you die out in the middle of nowhere, you can upload your personality onto the net until they fix your body and load you back down into it. So nobody dies ever, which means that no matter how annoying your enemies are, they're always going to be there. So it makes kind of murder and war not make any sense anymore. And I mean, there's a story that goes through it, but this is the universe. And of course, they figured out how to travel from star to star. So overpopulation isn't really a problem anymore. People are just expanding out into the galaxy. But there are a lot of things that are a problem. Like, what do you do when nobody dies? What happens to religion? What happens to families? What happens to politics? And so it explores a lot of those things within a story that's really an adventure story. I mean, it's kind of, well, I call it, what if Odysseus met Captain Ahab in the 40th century, only Captain Ahab was a beautiful woman with her own starship. So there you go. Dancing with Eternity.
Dancing with Eternity. I love it. And the link is down below. You guys can click it. It's on Amazon Kindle. It's on
Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you have your favorite independent bookstore, go there and order it, and they'll get it for you.
Oh, there you go. And then I think it'll be available for all of you guys. If you love it, click down below. Check it out. If you love it, buy it. He'll appreciate it. I'll appreciate it. Yeah.
I won't hook you. If you read it, I won't hook you. How's that? Is that fair? That's
No,
fair.
I think he'll hook you. I think he's going to come up with a sequel. He's going to hook you. He's that good. Good. So coming back to when you actually do voice acting and when you do such beautiful work, and I think Pudge is the most famous one we know, and I don't say that because I play sniper and you kill me every time. But and they have an enmity between them, right? So you've factored that in. How do you go ahead and get in the mind of Pudge when you're voice acting?
Well, when Valve sends us the auditions at home, they send us the artwork so they know what they look like, and a bunch of characteristic lines, and then a little bio about kind of what kind of guy he is. And just looking at Pudge, I mean, he just looks working class, you know what I mean? I mean, he doesn't look like he's really gone to school or, had any of the breaks. He's had to make his own way in the world. And, he's a very sympathetic character, really. I mean, yes, he likes to kill people and butcher them and eat them. But these are minor flaws, really, in any human being. I think you agree with me there. And so I understood him. I feel like, he was a nice guy and he deserved his moment in the sun. And so that was part of
I'm going to use that one. Pudge is a nice guy. I think that's the video. Pudge is a nice guy. Cool. And what's the kind of skill set? Because there's a lot of people who suddenly start saying, hey, this is fun. And it's not bad because there's a lot of people in gaming who were not going to be great gamers. And we had another video where people were designing things on the workshop. Right. So how do you get into voice acting like you did?
Well, I think, seriously, I mean, the operative word in voice acting is acting. What you want to do first is become a good actor. Because really, I mean, working for Valve and working for Bungie and Monolith and the other folks that I've worked for, they want these games to be cinematic. They want it to be real. They don't want any kind of fake, I'm scared kind of stuff, And so it's important to really know what the job of acting is, how to get in touch with, if you're being devoured by a space spider, you need to know what that feels like and go there. But the voice acting part of it is, I get a lot of work because I'm flexible and I can do a lot of different dialects, and that kind of stuff you can study. I mean, you can Google dialects, and they'll go there. And what you want to be thinking of is vowel substitutions and consonant substitutions. So where I would say medicine, somebody from South Africa would say medicine. Same word, but the vowels are different, right? Someone from India, would let's say how do you? There's a certain melody to their speech. Oh yes, I will take you to the airport. See, but they don't really say a T. They kind of swallow the T to a kind of a D. And these kind of specific things you can learn. And if I were being asked to do someone from India, I'd bone up on it, But you find out that there's not an English accent. There are like 70 English accents. There are probably 30 Irish accents. There are probably 40 Scottish accents. And then Australian, there are at least 2 or 3 Australian accents. People from Perth speak completely different from people from Melbourne. And so you can study this kind of thing. Southern accent, people think that there's one Southern accent. I can give you Georgia coastal, Appalachian, mid North Carolina, high Southern, which I call, Magnolia Mouth, New Orleans, Louisiana, East Texas, West Texas, then up into Tennessee, and then, you get a little bit farther north, and the Hoosier accent in Indiana kind of sounds a little bit like the Tennessee accent or the Appalachian accent. So, but you can really study this stuff and develop, an easel, not an easel. What's the other thing? Anyway, a whole catalog of dialects that you can do, and that helps out. Particularly, when I did The Suffering, I was 13 different characters in one day, and so coming up with a 13th dialect But it's not just dialect. You can say, okay, but I can pitch my voice. Pudge is down here. Storm Seeker Storm Spirit is up here, and you can use your whole voice that way, and also how fast they talk, how slow they talk, and stuff like that. But then the trick is to die as all of them, because in that one thing when I was 13 characters, I then had to scream with a Southern accent, and then scream with a Boston accent, scream with a New York accent. Screaming, there's not a whole bunch of accent in there, but you have to find a way to do it. But that's kind of the vocal part of it. And if you enjoy imitating characters, if you enjoy imitating your favorite characters in a game and stuff like that, and your friends say, "Oh wow, you do that really well," you might want to develop it and get into some acting classes so that you know what that's about. And then what you want to do is make a voice demo. And nowadays, when you're just starting out, you're not union, which I'm in, SAG-AFTRA and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not union, you can go online and just Google voice acting sites, and they'll take you to like Voice Acting 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that, where these guys just put up auditions, and they're putting them up on the web, so thousands of people are doing them. So basically, don't waste your time doing any audition that's been up there for a couple hours, because you're already number 10,000. But if you're right there and doing an audition right when they come on, you have a chance of getting heard and getting some work. And if you get a few gigs and you put together a voice demo, get yourself an agent. And the great thing about voice acting is you can do it from anywhere. So
you can sit home and
Alan and I go down to Pure Audio here in Seattle. But we can show up in our pajamas if we want to. You don't have to look good. You don't have to wait for them to light the scene. You don't have to wait for the other actors to do anything. You just go into the room, say your stuff into the microphone, go the heck home. So
I've seen it, and guys, all of you believe that you're great mimics, or the guys who can go ahead and do this. This is a great career. I think this is something in gaming that you should go ahead and look at. There are people out there like Husky, and there's so much animation that is currently going on. You start getting into animation on this and features.
Right now, they don't do much animation up here, so Ellen and I haven't done much of that. That's a lot in Texas and Atlanta and mostly in LA. And so you kind of need to be in those places to get those gigs.
The good part is we're from India, and there's a lot of that actually gets processed there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. And I would really encourage anyone who likes to do this kind of stuff, and particularly, if you're funny, if you have a good sense of humor and stuff like that, that's going to really stand you in good stead for this kind of work. Absolutely.
We're kind of going to wrap this up, but never wrap it up easily. Always go ahead and ask him, who's been your favorite in Dota and outside Dota? Voice acting. Come on, pick a child.
Right. I know, it's really hard. I mean, I really like all of them. I mean, it was fun to do every voice, from, what was it? The Ancient Apparition to the Doxia to, Earthshaker. But it would come down to between Pudge and Storm Spirit. And the only reason I bring up Storm, he's a great guy, but I got to do an announcer pack for Storm Spirit, so that was a lot of fun.
Your wife's done one for GLaDOS now.
Oh, yes, I know. So we're going to be just infecting Dota all over the place. But I think I have to go with Pudge. He's just so basic. He knows what he wants,
So there you go. Pudge is chosen. And outside Dota?
Outside Dota, I would have to say the Sniper is just such a great guy. I mean, he's so funny. And
guys, if you don't know what his Sniper, that's Team Fortress 2. You've done the voice for Team Fortress 2 Sniper, right?
Right, yeah. And of course, Ellen, my wife, is the administrator on Team Fortress 2. But the Sniper, he's a good guy, and he calls his folks on a regular basis. They don't understand him, but he's got a life, and he's a professional, and he has to put up with all the other buttheads in Team Fortress 2 that really aren't as good as him, especially the spy and the scout, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Sniper's a great guy, and I hate to mention this on a Valve interview, but the guy in Fear Project Origin, I got to fall in love with a hallucination, which was great fun to do. Doing voice work for video games is just a gas. It's the greatest job in the world.
I think we're in love, guys. Guys, you have to go ahead and vote him up. You have to go ahead and say this is phenomenal. This is Lord Nod at TI3 saying bye, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you.